there are many things that I look for potential leaders and leadership qualities within individuals. These are a handful of things that I think are important to be able to be a leader, particularly within a school or educational setting. Some of these transfer over into life and to other careers, but certainly these are things that I try to hold myself accountable to and think about when I'm leading and those types of things. The first one would be someone who's able to stay calm and collected, definitely taking emotion out of the decision-making process and taking emotion out of dealing with other people, whether that be parents, students, colleagues, your superiors, your employees, those sorts of things. Just kind of always portraying that even-keeled approach. Another one is I believe that someone who's competitive in nature makes a really good leader. That way you're always presented with new things and challenges and those types of things. So that person who really enjoys the process of the work or quote-unquote practice of getting better and meeting that end goal, or even enjoying the process of getting to that end goal, that competitive spirit definitely, in my opinion, helps enhance a leader. Being confident, not to be mistaken for cockiness or arrogance, but certainly a person who is comfortable in their own skin and ready to take on the responsibilities of the leadership details that you're going to be given, and being able to go about that in a confident way, and people having confidence in you to lead them. A person who can not necessarily predict the future, but really takes time in looking towards the future and looking for obstacles, but not necessarily looking at those obstacles as roadblocks or places that halt things, but just looking at those possibilities in order to look for possible solutions, or having multiple plans in place should different things happen. I always make a joke that as a principal, it feels like you're always working 6 to 7 months ahead of where you're actually living time-wise in, and a lot of that goes with trying to anticipate and predict certain things that may happen and have plans in place ahead of time that can kind of help you navigate them. Thick skin is a big one. You're going to have situations where people, whether it be parents, students, colleagues, your superior, are going to be upset with something that you were involved in, whether it be a situation, a decision, those types of things. You definitely have to develop that thick skin and realize that if you've built up your rapport and people understand who you are and your value set, that more times than not, they're not upset with you as a human being, they're upset with the actual situation or the result, and you can always work through that. But definitely thick skin. One thing I always tend to look for, and I like to observe, and I try to practice myself, is I like to see people who listen more than they speak. Not that speaking's bad, and obviously we need ideas to be shared, and there has to be dialogue in order to do that. But I definitely look for people who only speak when it's very pertinent to enhance the conversation or the communication, not just speaking to hear themselves speak, or to always necessarily project themselves as the smartest person in the room. Which brings me to my next one. I always try to attempt to surround myself with people that are really, really solid in whatever area I'm trying to work on. So I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, and you shouldn't want to be the smartest person in the room. If you are always the smartest person in the room, then you're certainly in the wrong rooms, because you're not going to get better as a professional. You're not going to be stimulated or enhanced as a leader. and your organization or building is not going to move forward if you're certainly the smartest person in the room. And then probably the last one is you want to be respected. You don't necessarily have to be loved or liked, but you certainly want to garner the respect of those that you're leading, because they're going to need to respond to you, and they need to understand that your values and leadership capabilities are never questioned, and that way there's always that respect moving forward as a leader. So, like I said, that's just a handful of things. Definitely a lot more that could be added to that, but those are just a few things that I personally try to hold myself accountable to, and I look for in potential leaders within Yorktown Middle School.